Hello, everybody, and welcome to Confessions of a Market Maker, Market Recap Edition. I'm your co-host, Ray, aka Snoop, and I'm joined here by my co-host, Jim Dalton's #1 fan, JJ. And we're here to recap the market and the news surrounding the week of November 18th through the 22nd. How'd your trading week go?
It was good. Slow today. Price action actually put me to sleep in the afternoon almost. Fell asleep at the desk, but not a bad week. Just had to be a little bit picky on trade location. But so far, so good. You know, trudging along, learning every day as I go.
Absolutely. Yeah, it looks like we're building value up here at these levels this week.
Yeah, I mean, we gapped up, we filled the gap, and so far values, it's hanging in there. People are paying these prices, so for the time being, as bad as the structure is underneath us, and as many VPOCs and gaps that we have underneath us, they're still buying it. So until they start selling it, we have to cautiously go with the trend, because I don't know. I think I saw a couple of people, especially Peter Resnicek, just put out that he's saying 200 points to the downside on the S&P. So yeah, and we'd still have a pretty good valuation if we dropped 200 points. So it wouldn't be that bad. I mean, bad for the people who are trapped at 3,100, but and then sometimes a market needs to liquidate and break and clean itself out before it can go higher. So like one of my old bosses used to say, in plumbing and the market, a flush is better than a full house. So it's always good to clean out the pipes.
Yeah, absolutely. So jumping into the news, BNP Paribas was fined $11 million for weaknesses.
15, sorry.
Oh, 15? Okay. So 15 million for weaknesses in their anti-money laundering controls. An inspection of the bank revealed a number of shortcomings in its provisions for preventing money laundering and financing of terrorism.
Well, the funny thing is, too, it involves penny stocks, and it's a bit of an old news release. It's about three weeks old, but I found that nobody's talked about this, and the fine is $15 million, and then you look at that they ran $230 billion through it and processed 70,000 wire transfers. And cleared a whole bunch of penny stock certificates for toxic debt financiers, and removed restrictive legends, didn't do any sort of due diligence. So, for all my old clients and buddies who are trying to clear stock at those levels, and you wonder why you're having trouble, it's because of stuff like this. I guess there was just no enforcement, and they really couldn't have been bothered. And the fine is basically, I mean, if you think of the fees and the money that they made on, a couple of $100 billion worth of transactions, $15 million is a tip. So, they gave FINRA a tip and said, thank you very much. And, we'll have a cappuccino and bring us have a nice day. So, you really wonder, and it wasn't discussed. You don't hear about it on CNBC.
Right.
You have people out there who are buying, they're buying unregistered stock in the U.S. stock market, and it's being cleared by these big banks without any sort of due diligence or registration or anything. And, it's just, I think it's comical. And it's no small sum of money if you read the complaint.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the things that make the news these days, and this was like brushed under the rug. And I assume you're not even really surprised by this, are you?
No. I always knew that people would always ask me, where are these guys clearing stock to get it into the system? And I'd say probably prime brokers. And I've been saying that for about 10 years, ever since the rules got very tight in the United States. And, guess what? I was right. So anyway, I guess they'll close that door, and these guys will have to find another bank that's asleep at the switch compliance-wise, and it always happens though.
Right.
It's hard to understand how that much suspicious activity went outside of the eye of compliance. Considering that these banks have staffs and teams of lawyers. I mean, this is not no small bank we're talking about.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's interesting, and people wonder why these low float stocks all of a sudden trade 30 million, 40 million, $100 million worth of stock out of nowhere, and then stop. So, gee, I wonder why.
Yeah. Makes you think. Yeah. Moving on, Tesla was down over 5.5% Friday. Elon Musk unveiled their first pickup truck, Cybertruck. The on-stage demonstration of the break-proof glass, well, the glass shattered when a steel ball was thrown at it. Jay.
Yeah, that didn't quite work out. And there are a lot of people who don't like the guy. His mother's from Saskatchewan, so I have to be kind.
Yeah.
It wasn't his finest moment. Smart guy. I don't think they were quite prepared. I don't know about the design of that. I mean, I live in truck country. We have a dealership up here that has so many trucks on the lot, you would think it's a factory. Because this is Saskatchewan, and everyone drives a pickup truck, and I don't see any of my redneck buddies driving that thing around. It looks like something out of Mad Max.
Oh, yeah, good. Yeah, that's a good comparison. Yeah, interesting design. I don't know. You couldn't see yourself driving that?
Well, and the other thing too, and it's minus 40 up here. I don't know how long those batteries would last.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Charles Schwab is in talks to buy TD Ameritrade in a deal that would reshape the discount brokerage market. Obviously, this is where millions of individual investors go to. How could this affect things, Jay?
Well, these brokerage firms, they're just sort of feeding off each other and gathering assets. It's what is it, a $26 billion deal?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's subject to regulatory approval. And we'll see what happens now. They're all going to commission free and fractional buying of shares, and we have micro futures, and they've got to get the retail back into this market.
Mm-hmm.
They're these the big boys are loaded with paper, and they need to unload that paper to somebody. So that's going to take a while to create a market to sell it into. So they might as well start now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it seems like a lot of the things that are going on right now are catering to getting more retail money back in the fold. Is that correct?
I think so. You could tell you can tell that there is a lack of retail in these markets by how they trade. To the tick sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's so it's social machine based, but yeah, they need liquidity, and when you have 10 money managers buying all the stock, they realize that they're the only buyer, so of size anyway. So
Yeah.
it's time for them to start developing a nice retail market.
Right. For sure. For sure. And then with that, it's going to conclude this episode of Confessions of a Market Maker. If you enjoyed this podcast, please rate and review it. If you're interested in learning market profile, if you're keen on trading a liquid market, if you got a small account, come join JJ and I at microefutures.com. JJ, what do we got looking forward to next week?
Well, we have the holidays, and we'll see. I think it felt like holiday trading today. It was so
sure
slow.
Did. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Of course, we're looking for that typical month-end markup next week, and I don't think they're going to drive the market down pre-Turkey, your favorite. So I don't think. I might be a little blissfully ignorant, but I don't think we'll see that much drama next week. Let's hope not, and maybe we'll get some decent trading. In the first couple of days anyway, but I imagine volume will slow down to a crawl.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we can be wishful. We can hope.
Definitely.
For the proper villain, Frau Farbissina. You guys use stops though.
Bring in the stops. Definitely.